All right, your next comedian, very excited to have him back on the show. It's been a little while, and we've been chomping at the bit to get him back. Let's give it up for the hilarious Chad Denick, everyone.
Yeah, have him back. Boys can be comedians, too. I am married. Any married people in here? Yeah. Well, I'm divorced, but I was married. I'm happy to be here. Well, not happy. I've never been happy, but I appreciate that I'm here. I don't get booked on as many shows as I would like to. A problem I do run into with some of the comedy bookers is they say, Chad, it doesn't matter how funny you are. You're a straight white male. It's an oversaturation. I just can't book you. I'm sorry. And I get it. I really do. You know, boo-hoo, white guys. But I have a couple problems with it. The first one, straight, it's like, you know, barely. Like, I'm not a fruit in the way a tomato is a fruit. Does that make sense? I learned last year that I am what's called a demisexual. And if you don't know what that means, basically you have to have a strong, like, connection emotionally, generally, with a person before you're sexually attracted to them. And I do think that's pretty gay, so. And then white, like, fine, you know, guilty. Not guilty like a court of law, because I am white, but. But you can have white. That's fine. My father was the hamburger helper glove, and my mother was a cigarette. So yeah, you can have white. That's fine. And then even male, like, I don't have any strong opinions on gender. I know it's a very, like, nuanced, delicate discussion in the modern zeitgeist. But all I know is my entire life growing up, people would say, "You're a guy, you get it," and I'd say, "Yeah." No, I never got it. It's a straight white male. I used to live in beautiful San Jose, California. I don't know if you guys visit the internet everywhere, but that's where it lives. Every website lives in San Jose. But I used to live by a really cool Vietnamese bagel shop, and they didn't have pho bagels or anything. It's just everyone working there was Vietnamese. So. Vietnamese bagel shop. And because they were cool, I thought it'd be cool if I learned how to say thank you in Vietnamese, right? So I could show them that I'm one of the good ones, right? And so I looked it up and practiced it a couple times, and the next time I was in, after I ordered, I said thank you in Vietnamese, and the lady just stared at me. And I totally fell apart. Like, I was expecting some sort of round of applause or whatever. But I fell apart. I was like, "Oh my God, ma'am, I am so sorry. Is that not how you say thank you in Vietnamese?" And she explained, "They are Cambodian." Oops. Now I get that it's, 2015 or whatever, and a white guy even mentioning race on stage or section of a toy store, it should be avoided at all costs, right? It's a very outdated point of view. It can make people uncomfortable. It's just like, we're kind of done hearing that. But if Jesus really was black, why isn't Christian music better? Now, I can tell that joke, it mentioned race and religion, but I can tell it for two reasons. The first being, it's brilliant. It's a perfectly written joke. But the second reason I can tell that joke is I was actually raised very strict, orthodox white trash. If you don't know what orthodox white trash is, basically my family at one point was evicted from a mobile home, which you probably didn't think could happen. You figure you just kind of scoot away, right? And I've been paid in marijuana as if it were money to babysit my little sister. Usually, because the my little sister part, that's kind of like it's like a punchline. And Thousands of times I've told that joke. And every time, what happens is the audience laughs. But you guys, you're a smart crowd. See, some people, they don't understand comedy etiquette. They go to a show, the comedian tells a joke, and then they burst out laughing. And that is actually super rude. So, thank you guys so much. I was afraid, so what I was afraid of is I had built so much momentum. I was like, we gotta slow this down. And then you guys met me in the middle. Thank you, I appreciate that. Growing up white trash. I was always a very mature child though, growing up white trash. Like, not to brag, but by the time I was in 3rd grade, I had not 1, but 2 utility bills in my name. And, it's a lot of responsibility. I grew up in a single-parent home. I don't know if anyone else here was raised by just the one television, but that was my deal. Oh, I'm not a car guy. I think that kind of hurts my white trash credibility a bit. Like, I have a car. I'm not a burden to my friends and family, but I'm sorry for those of us with DUIs and whatnot, but I was kidding about my mom being a cigarette. My mom was actually a DUI, but no, I just don't know anything about working on cars. I don't know how to fix cars, and I don't know that it's my fault, because when I was growing up, every time my dad would work on the car, like every single time, I'd be in the living room playing little video games. He'd be in the garage 1,100 miles away with his new family. Thank you guys for laughing at that. I still would have preferred, that's fine. But sometimes crowds, oh, and I have to explain, this is a comedy show, these are jokes. I'm kidding. Obviously, there's no way for me to know if my dad worked on cars. He left. No, I actually did have a job at an auto parts store for a couple years. And so I was working with a bunch of car guys, deliver auto parts to mechanics. So I actually did learn, a lot of Spanish. But I was working with a bunch of 19-year-olds, so everything was very useless Spanish, because it was like, ten cuidado con su culo, mira a mi culo, dice adios a su culo. It was all culo-based Spanish, really. And if you somehow live in Southern California and you don't speak Spanish, first of all, racist, but second of all, culo, like a lot of words in Spanish, it's the same word, just with an O at the end. So it just means cool, right? And so if you're like a taqueria, or you're down in Cabo and you want to like really have a strong connection with somebody, just say "Yo soy un culo," and they'll agree. You're a big old culo. I like stand-up comedy. Obviously, I'm up here destroying, but I mentioned video games. I actually would like to make a video game based around stand-up comedy, right? It'd be like Guitar Hero, but instead of like music stuff coming down the screen, it's like joke parts or whatever. So you play it on normal, and it's just like men and women are different, right? But even that's too hard for some people, so they put on easy mode, and it's just like dick joke, dick joke, dick joke, right? And then you get all the accessories you need, you get a little microphone, a little notebook for your jokes, all the paperwork to fill out for unemployment. And then the only way to get points in the game is by taking away opportunities from other comedians. And don't feel bad, I'm doing that right now, it's great. The game is actually going to be very realistic. It's so realistic you can't win. You can just play for 40 years or quit. And either way, ultimately, who cares, right? I have a roommate which is embarrassing to say in my 30s, especially because I'm in my 40s. But I do have a roommate, and if we're splitting hairs, I do have 2 roommates, in addition to the first roommate I mentioned. I have lots of roommates. Also, I did lie about my age just to make something funnier. I'm actually only 39. And I think that is the way that you should lie about your age. You should lie up. Because I was on dating apps for a while, and people were definitely lying down. Not in like a gross way, don't be. This is a Christian comic book store, stop it. But I think that's a foolish thing, because if you lie about your age, but you're actually much older, people won't be impressed. They'll just like, wow, you look terrible. All right, nice soft laugh to end on. Let's get Jeff May back up in here.
Soft laugh to end on is better than